Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Elmara coming to you with miracle number 89 in the 100 Miracles in 100 Days project. Let us begin by taking a big belly breath, filling your belly and your lungs up with life-giving chi, for as deep a breath as you can, holding it for as long as it's comfortable, and then breathing out through the mouth with a bit of a sigh. In through the nose as deep as you can go, filling up your belly and lungs, and out through your mouth. Let's do this several times. Bring your awareness within. So this is another very old miracle. When I wasn't as smart as what I am now. Well, actually, I've always been smart, but I didn't know how smart I was back then. That's probably a better way of saying that. Although I did believe in angels and miracles back then, even when I wasn't fully aware of the power and the wisdom and spiritual blessings that exist within me. So this particular day, I was driving to Biwa from Brisbane, so that's how long ago it is. It's at least nearly 25 years old, maybe more. I didn't do readings very often, and I don't know why I decided to go have one with this woman, but I did. I've always kind of known somewhere deep inside of me that people can only read to the level of which they have achieved within themselves. And sometimes they just talk shit. But in this particular case, I was inspired to go have a reading with this woman, trusting that she might be able to help me take the next step on my journey. So I'm driving. I'm about halfway there, maybe. And there's all these kids in a bus that were like pointing at me and pointing at my car and then kind of doing circles with their hands to indicate that there was something the matter with my tires, because they were kind of pointing down towards my tires. So I decided to pull off the road, and indeed one of my tires was half flat. So I'm in the middle of bloody nowhere, but on a highway. And so I just ring the RACQ, which is the Royal Automobile Car or Company or whatever it is, Queensland. They had someone would come and help you. And I ring them, and what I didn't realise was that my policy had expired, and normally in the past if it expired you could just pay it and they would come and help you. But they were like, oh no, we've changed our policy. You will now have to pay $120 for someone to come and change your tyre for you. Minimum, could be more than that. And then pay the $80 or $100 or whatever it was to join their RACQ membership, which I had been in and out of spasmodically. If you want to know how I learned about God's Gold Light Insurance, this is it. So I go to her, oh God, I'm not going to pay you that. That's ridiculous. I'm happy to have paid $100 fee or whatever, which I seldom used. I can't even remember I don't remember calling them out in all the 10 or 12 years that I had the damn thing. Anyway, I said to her, I'm not going to pay you that. Is that the only option? She goes, that's the only option. I said, well, it's not really the only option. I'm just going to ask God to send me someone to change the tyre for me. And she said, I'm going to just call on God's Gold Light Insurance, I said to her, and ask God to send me someone to change the tyre. She roars laughing and says back to me, so obviously she's in a call centre, and says, good luck with that. And I just, as I was saying that, as I said that to her, and as she said it, and she's roaring with laughter going, good luck with that, there was a man that had stopped on the other side of the highway, that had crossed the highway, was on the medium strip, yelling out to me, do you need a hand, darling? And I just said to her, she goes, what? And she could hear him yelling. I said, don't worry about it. That's the man coming to change my tyre. Thank you anyway. Roared laughing at her and hung up the call. And I said, yes, please. And he crosses the medium through all the traffic and comes and changes my tyre for me. I went, oh my God, you're an angel. I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to send you 100 blessings for stopping. That is just amazing. He said to me, I have a story to tell you. I said, oh. He said, would you like to hear a story? I said, I'd love to. So while he's changing the tyre, he tells me that his wife, who was 7 or 8 months pregnant with a 5-year-old daughter, her car had broken down and she had to walk 5 kilometres in 40 plus degree heat, and nobody stopped to help her. Nobody stopped to ask if she was okay. She had to walk 5 kilometres to the nearest service station. If you live in Queensland, you will know that the Bruce Highway, I think it's called, the service stations are far and few between. He said, and I just committed. He said, I myself have been guilty of just driving past people, and I myself have, and at that point when that happened to my wife, I made a commitment that I would never drive past a woman who was broken down on the side of the road again. He goes, that was 8 months ago, and you're my first person I've stopped to help. God, I'm going a bit weird remembering that. It was such a beautiful moment. And I remember saying to him, oh, God bless you, thank you. How is your bubby? And he said, oh, she's 6 months old now, and she's really gorgeous, and blah, blah, blah. We have this conversation. He fixes my tyre. This has then put me very late for my appointment. I'm not going to make it to BWA for this appointment. Just breathe for me, please. Now, a smart person, because that tyre was not flat before I left home, a smart person would have gone, that's a sign I'm not meant to be going. So I ring the people and say, I was coming up from Brisbane, I've had a flat tyre, excuse me. Someone's just helped me, but it's going to make me very late for my appointment. The receptionist says to me, well, if you can get here by this time, you may have to wait, but we will fit you in. So I continue driving, get there, go have a cup of coffee or whatever, and wait about probably half an hour to have this appointment. Now, this is what I really want you to hear. It was the most terrible reading. I don't know what she did, but, and maybe she was just at that time evoking some stuff that needed to be, brought to the surface. But she said some pretty disgusting things about me. I remember that. I remember just bursting into tears and sobbing and being unable to stop sobbing. Eventually get myself to the car. Eventually go into the butcher shop and grab something that I can eat when I get home for tea or whatever, because I hadn't eaten all day except for that cup of coffee. And I remember just being broken by what she told me. I can't even remember what she told me now, but I just remember feeling very broken. I rang my gorgeous friend, who I'm pretty sure I've spoken about before, Michael Redshirt, and he was a friend of mine, and I've been doing some American Indian teachings with him. And he just said to me, I don't understand why you've listened to someone who doesn't even know who you are, who has never met you, who has just come up with all this stuff. And he was probably right, because if I remember, she was like, we can help you with this. You can do this 10-week course and it's going to cost you this much money, blah, blah, blah. But I was just such a mess. And it was Michael who said to me, you know, like, why? Why? Why would you ever go back to someone who belittled you so much? And of course, it still took me a couple of days to kind of like go, I can't believe someone said all that to me. And to go, maybe Michael was right. So, but the moral of the story is that the miracle is that that wonderful man stopped to help me when my RACQ membership had stopped. The stupid part of it on my behalf was that it was the hugest sign to turn around and go home. But I wasn't as aware as what I am now. And it's a really, really, really good idea to, if something like that happens when you're going to do something, if something like that happens, then sorry, car's just come on the driveway. I'm trying to work out how I can help, but I don't think I can. I think I'm just going to stay here, be me. Finish this recording for you gorgeous people, because it's not for me. And just stop and reevaluate and breathe and make sure it's not the universe trying to say to you, this is not a good idea. Because when things are meant to be, they usually flow. They usually flow, and the next thing happens, and the next thing happens, and and it just flows one on after the other. But when it doesn't flow, sometimes it is the universe trying to say to you, don't do this, don't go here. And if I look back now, I can't remember them, but I remember, sometime later looking back and going, there was signs that I shouldn't have gone ahead with this. Can't remember what they were now. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that's really important to keep in mind as well is that if you have the arrow of determination on your chart, like I do, so everybody born in the 1950s has a 1, 5, and a 9 on their chart. It's a diagonal arrow in numerology called the arrow of determination. And, and that means sometimes that we push through to do things when we shouldn't be doing that. I had a classic example of that happen last week, and I will share that with you shortly, but not today. So just be mindful that sometimes the blocks are coming, or you are being stifled because Source is trying to get you to be still, or to stop, to change the direction you are in. Sometimes the blocks are coming because you're going in the wrong direction. Just breathe for me, please. Just breathe for me. Let that sink in. Open yourself up and realize that life is always happening for you, not to you. And one of the things that could have stopped that was simply saying, which I wasn't aware of back then, Awareness is the key, isn't it? One of the things that I could have asked if I'd known was to say, why is this happening for me? Instead of probably, I don't remember specifically, like, why is this happening to me? How come I've got a flat tire? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't know if I did that, but it's pretty damn positive when the woman laughed at me when I said I'm going to get someone to change, but ask God to send an angel along and change my tire for me. And within, I hadn't even got off the phone and he was there. So also understand that there's always, you know, if you stay open, there's always a miracle in the making. So just breathe for me, please. Just breathe. Know that you're always divinely connected, or know that you're always divinely protected, even if you don't know you're divinely protected as well. So there's kind of two lessons in there today. One is that you're always being looked after, and two, sometimes the blocks are coming so that you stop doing what you're going to do. It took me probably a week to get over the nasty things that woman had said to me. And if I remember correctly, when I saw her, like her energy was so dark anyway, and I wanted to run away, but I figured since she'd waited for me, changed all the appointments, done all that, that I should stay and blow my money, which I did. Alrighty, just take a big breath in for me, please. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Bring your awareness into your hands and return your breath to in through the nose and out through the nose. As you breathe in this time and breathe out, point your hands to the sky and the sun and tie your energy as you breathe out around the sun. Beautiful, beautiful sun that gives light and life to everything. The source of all life on earth. They say if the sun went down, all the plants and animals on earth would die in 10 days. And I don't know why we're so arrogant to think we wouldn't, because we eat all the plants and animals on earth. So breathe in. Bring a big scoop of that source light down straight through the crown chakra, filling your whole being, your 100 trillion cells, 100 trillion telomeres up with pure golden source light. Take the last 5% down and tie that around the core of Mother Earth. And this time you're going to scoop up all the energy from Mother Earth all the way back up and breathe all that life-giving energy from Earth out into your cells and your being, up through your chakras. Take the last 5% up to the sun. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. I do still, after 25 years, move my hands up and down. Because while you're doing that, your ego is occupied and it doesn't start going, oh, this is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? That's why Tai Chi and Qigong work very well. Breathe in and draw the energy back up. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out into Earth. Or out into your body and the last 5% into Earth. And breathe in. And breathe out. Now that's the first step on my fifth dimension meditation or activation. It will line up all your meridian lines, and if you do it long enough, it will actually clear your chakras as well. So that will be included in our 10-week Become a Powerful Fifth Dimension Spiritual Activator and Healer. That's starting in April. I had something really, truly amazing happen this morning, and that's why I'm very late with your activation today. But one of the things that happened was I am aware that I was a high priestess from Lyra. Well, it goes back millions of years. Or I am, and still am, but you know, like, and the L part, the EL part of my name, actually the reason it's spelt, not on Facebook it's not, but the reason it's spelt with a lowercase e is because it denotes the divine feminine aspect of the Elohim. And so, and the Elohim and comes from, it was created on planet Lyra. And if you know anything about Lyran energy, they were cat people. They had the most extraordinary, beautiful, soft, loving energy. And the planet, it's kind of probably too much to go into, but it was, there was a bit of a galactic war or whatever, where the Draconians tried to take it over, and a lot of beings from Lyra ended up in Sirius. So I have a connection to both of those planets. But I think I might have been one of the people that stayed and tried to fight, not tried, did stay and fight for Lyra, for it to stay as a peaceful planet. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all of that is that once I cleared the stuff from that big event, which I was aware that I was a Lyran, I was aware that I could call in my Lyran higher guidance, and the whole energy in the room would shift immediately. And people who love cats usually have something to do with Lyra, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, once I called it in, cleared all the stuff, it became abundantly clear to me that one of the things we need to include in this 10-week training program, so I'll add it to the notes below, is that we are going to connect you to your star seed planet. Now, if you've been around a long time like me, a lot of people think you just have one. But I've been around for millions of bloody years, my soul has, and I have connections to Sirius, to Lyra, to Arcturus, to the Pleiades, and to the Andromeda as well. So, and you might end up being one of those as well, especially if you're going to do my training. However, I wanted to just add that one of the things I wasn't planning to cover, but will be now, is we will be helping you make a connection to your star seed planet, which all sorts of magnificent things happen when you wake up that energy inside of you. So, alrighty. We're right up against our 22-minute time limit, so I'm just going to send you a mountain of love and blessings. And I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Bye for now.